The metaverse is a confusing mix of places, hardware, currency, so it's no wonder decision makers are unsure what to do first. There's a strong desire to do something, but what? Do you prefer to build? Do you want to create a community, an NFT? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you one project that every business should be considering as its base for its inclusion in the metaverse. Imagine for a moment an empty store, any store, empty shelves, wide open spaces. That's the metaverse as we have it today. There's not a lot of things. If we're going to have virtual stores, we're going to need virtual things. Your product, your services, your displays, whatever that is, needs to be created. Whether you're building that space, whether you're partnering with someone else, or you're still unsure where these items are going to be. In any rate, you're going to want to build a 3D asset catalog. The first thing you're going to want to do for a 3D asset catalog is thinking about a standard. You need to get everybody on the same sheet of music. You need to think about a file output. I'm recommending GLB. The GLB format will allow you to work extensively between your partners, between your vendors, and between your departments to move files around, to update, keep things orderly, and to be able to easily move and transform those objects into other objects for specific programs and projects. The next is you want to make sure those items are at one-to-one scale. Scale is going to be important. While we can rescale things, you always want to have them at their real world scale. The next, reduce file sizes, but you want to retain the fidelity. So this is kind of a judgment call, but you're going to have to look at it and say, what gives you a good view that isn't a giant file size? I mean, think about your product on shelves. If there's a lot of them, obviously memory could be an issue. So you want to keep them lightweight, but you want to retain enough visual fidelity that it's clear what your product is, but you don't need to read the entire label. The next is socializing the standards. Take all of this information, work with your partners, your departments, the people who are creating this content, and set that as the new format that you want your objects in. Anything from this point forward, you want a delivery of a 3D object. All right, so you started to create objects. How do you keep them all together? Well, I've been working in a Microsoft house for a while, and one of the great things about that is people don't really realize you've got SharePoint Spaces, which is a 3D you could use, or just a document library. But the idea is create a space that you can put all your files so that you can actually view them, you can manage them, you can even sort and filter them. So there's a lot of really easy ways to do that, but it depends on your backbone. Okay, so you've got a 3D asset catalog, you have all of your stuff. How's that going to help you in your metaverse projects? Well, first off, there's a few uses here that you can get started on and start to see returns fairly quickly. The first is using your objects in augmented reality to visualize these displays, these layouts, products in your own space. You can use these for approvals, marketing, picking the difference. You could have 3 different displays or 3 different product labels, whatever you're designing, and you could choose what works the best, socialize those, make decisions. You can use them for sales out in the field. People can see what your product or displays or item could be in that space. Your field sales could be out there showing your product, showing displays, showing how that would look in their space. Education. You can drop these things into the world and onboard new people. You've got to expose them to your product, your product catalog. Here's an interesting one. What about your Amazon listings? Amazon offers an ability to see in your space. Typically, we see this for furniture and household goods, things like that. But if it's allowed to go ahead and update your product, you may find you could take all of these 3D objects and place them up on your Amazon listings and add as an extra feature. You've got the product catalogs. It just adds depth. How about populating the virtual shelves and spaces you're building for your VR test and tries? So one of the things you're probably going to be working on at some point is your own space. Or you're going to test out what works and what doesn't. Having a 3D catalog will allow your teams to spend their time building the space and not building the products. 3D spatial anchoring. Well, if you played Pokemon Go, you know what it's like to have something that is anchored in a 3D space that multiple people can access. If you're thinking about this, you could actually go ahead and take your displays and put them in a particular space out in the world. You can use your 3D products in PowerPoint to add punch to your presentations. Use your 3D products to create social marketing materials or mock-ups. Drop them in, rotate them around, get the look you want, add some text, mock-ups, or you're done. As you've seen, 3D items can power your augmented, virtual, or even 2D needs. Having this 3D catalog gets you to the point where you're ready to drop your product right into an existing world, a new world that's being built, or a partnership you're creating. But if you don't have these things, any project you do is going to have to go back and grab this information. So why not get ahead of the game?